Okay, so this is our first lecture of constitutional law, and today we are starting with why are we studying constitutional law? It is the source of our entire legal system, source of validity of all laws, and it controls पावर राइट्स एंड गवर्नेंस. ये सब चीजों का कंट्रोल किसके पास है? हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के पास है. इट इज द बैकबोन ऑफ आवर डेमोक्रेसी. So if something is the backbone, it is also protecting your democracy. Yes, your backbone is protecting you. Similarly, constitution is protecting our rights that we have. बिना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के आज ये कुछ भी पॉसिबल नहीं था, हमारा डेमोक्रेटिक एनवायरनमेंट पॉसिबल नहीं था. ओके, सो इट इज द फाउंडेशन. जैसे हम जूरिस स्टूडेंट्स में बोलते हैं ग्रैंड नॉर्म. ग्रैंड नॉर्म क्या होता है? जहां से सब कुछ का सोर्स हो रहा है, सोर्स ऑफ पावर. तो वैसे ही कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ is the grand norm of our entire Indian legal system. Yes, grand norm. And this course is special because यहाँ पे we'll be studying constitutional law from the very basics. तो अगर आपका basic knowledge भी नहीं है, तो by the end of this course I can assure you that you'll be an expert at constitutional law. All right? Yes. Now, moving on to the next slide. Build conceptual foundations. Yes, this course is here to build. आपको preamble ही नहीं पता होगा, आपको पता होगा sovereign, socialist, secular क्या है, कहाँ से आया है, कौन से amendment ने क्या ऐड किया है, and why particular amendment was even important. So all the key aspects will be dealt under here. Okay, we'll be dealing with all the key aspects. Key aspects यहाँ पे हम लोग कवर करेंगे सारे. इट विल बिल्ड अ स्ट्रॉन्ग कंसेप्चुअल फाउंडेशन, एक्सप्लेन रीजंस क्यों है कुछ भी. ओके, आर्टिकल और केस लॉ का ये जो रिलेशनशिप है, अगर आप ये समझ गए ना, तो द एंटायर जर्नी इज गोइंग टू बी सुपर इजी. एंड द रीजन इज दैट दिस relationship, this nexus that we are going to draw, it will help you understand all the articles clearly, and you know, wo case laws you will be remembering forever. Why? Because they will ensure your knowledge with the same. Okay, so constitutional thinking, articles with case laws, reasons behind provisions. तो एकदम basic से expert level का, this is a journey of constitutional law. And now today's topic, I have taken this small topic for today, and this topic will help you all understand that why are we here today, and how are we going to understand each topic of constitutional law. Okay, so today's topic that we have in mind is the separation of powers. Yes, separation of powers. Okay, so separation of powers का मतलब क्या हुआ? If we are separating something, why are we separating? एक मान लो वो है, there is this entire bundle of powers. Okay, there is one bundle of power. Okay, ये क्या है? Bundle है पूरा. Okay, and is it wise to give all the powers to one single person? Is it wise कि मैं सारे powers अगर किसी एक को दे दूं तो? नहीं. क्यों नहीं? क्योंकि that particular person will use his arbitrary nature. तो वो क्या डिक्टेटरशिप की तरफ चला जाएगा? क्यों? क्योंकि उसे लगेगा that I have the supremacy of power, I have all the powers. Therefore this separation becomes essential. Separation becomes essential. अब ये सेपरेशन अगर हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के लिए बात कर रहे हैं, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के लिए, तो इफ वी आर separating the powers in the constitution of India, then we have three branches for this separation. One is the legislative branch, then we have the executive branch, and then we have judicial branch. तो ये तीन ब्रांचेस हैं जिसमें हम जो बंडल ऑफ पावर्स है, बंडल ऑफ पावर्स हमें कौन दे रहा है? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. और हमने इन्हें तीन हेड्स में डिवाइड कर दिया. ओके, लेजिस्लेटिव, एग्जीक्यूटिव and judiciary, and every branch has a specific power. Legislature laws बनाएगा. executive will execute those laws and judiciary will interpret those laws. तो ये तीनों जो branch है इनका functions अलग हो गया. Okay, one branch is making the laws, one branch is executing the law, and the third branch is the judicial branch that is interpreting the law. इस पूरे separation का purpose, what is the purpose of the entire separation of powers, that we do not have concentration of powers. ये सारा bundle हम किसी एक particular body को ना दे दें. Okay, prevent the concentration of powers. Okay, now आर्टिकल 50 है जो बात करता है सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स की. नाउ इफ यू हैव योर बेयर एक्ट्स, okay, I would urge you to go on to article number 50 of the constitution. 50 is talking about separation of powers. Article 50 is talking about separation of powers, and what does it read? Separation of judiciary from the executive. You don't speak in my matters, I will not speak into your matters. Okay, so 50, article number 50, as you can read here. Article number 50 is that article that is talking about this separation of powers between legislative, executive, and judiciary, all three. No, it is only talking about the separation of powers between the judiciary and the executive. Abhi, what did we discuss? That there were three heads: legislative, executive, and judiciary. And it is important that we divide the powers to prevent the concentration of powers. Okay, अब 121 and 211 of the constitution discuss कि legislature क्या कर रहा था? Legislature is the law making body. Yes, the law making body cannot discuss the conduct of the judges. Okay, and 122 and 212 courts cannot interfere. So, executive judiciary should be separate. This is said under article number 50, and 121 and 211 talks about that legislature cannot discuss the matters conduct of the judges, and 122 and 212 discuss that courts cannot interfere. So constitution is doing what? Constitution is actually clarifying what? Ki we are clear that there has to be separation of powers, and through these articles we are making it clear. Okay, तो एग्जीक्यूटिव लॉ जजेस डिस्प्यूट्स खत्म करेंगे. ओके, तो सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर एक तरह से डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ पावर्स है अमंग डिफरेंट ऑर्गन्स टू प्रिवेंट एक जगह पे कॉन्सेंट्रेशन. ओके, नाउ division. Now this division is a structural division, as we have talked about in these particular articles of the constitution. Yes, Article 50. Now, this is a DPSP thing that I'm talking about right now, but I want you to give an idea about how we'll be dealing with the concepts that will be starting with the preamble. In fact, we'll be starting from the history and then going on to preamble. So each and every topic is going to be dealt in great detail. अब हमारे यहाँ क्या स्ट्रिक्ट सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स है, और सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स हमने कहाँ से लिया है? I want you all to search it and tell me that from which country have we borrowed the concept of separation of powers. One essential thing when I talk about the Constitution of India is that a lot of features are borrowed. Okay, we have borrowed a lot of features. Now, just because we have borrowed a lot of features, तो as is तो हम नहीं लगा देते ना अपने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में. We put it, we Indianize it, we borrow it and add it in our constitution as the our society can accept and what are the needs of our country. So Indian model, if I am talking about, we do not talk about a strict separation of powers. Okay, there is no, what is this hinting towards, that there is no strict separation of powers? It is hinting towards that there can be an overlap हो सकता है. There is a separation, we have agreed कि हाँ there is a separation of powers, but we also can have overlap between two bodies. There is a functional separation, we have to maintain the checks and balances. Yes, flexibility है. Overlap of functions की वजह से ही we have kept this. Executive, नाउ एग्जीक्यूटिव को ऑर्डिनेंस मेकिंग पावर मिल जाता है इन पर्टिकुलर circumstances, and then we'll go to the article number 123. We'll discuss about that how 123 is one example of the overlapping feature that I'm talking about. And then if I talk about judiciary, it guidelines on the absence of laws. It talks about कि if you have messed with the basic structure of the constitution, how you have to, how you cannot mess up before. आप ओवर रीच नहीं कर सकते, ओवर रीच नहीं अलाउ करते हैं। और ये चेक में कौन रखता है? जुडिशरी रखता है। कि मान लो हमारा ये घर है, अगर मैं डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर की बात करूं कि if this particular box is standing, it is standing on, it needs four such pens to stand on, yes। तो ये हमारा क्या है? एंटायर डेमोक्रेसी है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, yes। So it needs four pens to stand on, and if I remove even one pen, it will be lopsided like this। So here the basic structure doctrine हमें जब समझना है तो हम ये समझेंगे कि ये जो चार पेन्स हैं, these pens are our basic structure and I cannot even remove one single pen, क्योंकि अगर एक भी पेन मैंने हटाई तो इसका स्ट्रक्चर चेंज हो जाएगा, एंड वी कैनॉट चेंज द वेरी बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर। ओके, तो जुडिशरी वो चेक में रखती है किसको? लॉ मेकिंग एजेंसीज को, कि आप ये बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर यू कैन नॉट चेंज इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। ओके, ओवरलैप एग्जिस्ट बट डोमिनेशन, वन कैनॉट डोमिनेट द अदर। इन स्पेशल सर्कमस्टेंसेस आप ओवरलैप कर सकते हो मगर आप दूसरी बॉडी को डोमिनेट नहीं कर सकते हो। देयरफॉर द सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स एग्जिस्ट। ओके, now there are certain cases. Now in these cases it has been held that how the Indian constitution does not recognize a rigid, क्या नहीं recognize करता है? Rigidity। तो रिजिड नहीं रिकॉग्नाइज करता है कि द सेपरेशन कैन नॉट बी रिजिड बट द सेपरेशन इज देयर। केशवानंद भारती ने सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स को एक बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर बताया। तो आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग that if it is standing on four pens and I remove one pen, I am removing what? I am removing one pen from the four pens। तो फिर क्या होगा? क्या मैं बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर के साथ छेड़छाड़ कर रही हूँ? यस। सो the Keshwananda Bharati case in itself has told us that separation of powers that we are talking about is a part of the basic structure and no one can infringe with the basic structure। Okay, क्यों जरूरी है हमें ये पूरा सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स? हमें डेमोक्रेसी को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू प्रोटेक्ट द डेमोक्रेसी। यस, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू प्रोटेक्ट द डेमोक्रेसी। Protects, ensures judicial independence and prevents dictatorship. If all the bundle of rights will be with one particular body, then this will lead to concentration of powers, and concentration of powers in turn will lead to what? Concentration of powers हमें dictatorship की तरफ से ले जाते हैं। Therefore, separation of powers becomes a part of basic structure of the constitution। Okay, it prevents the dictatorship that is there। yes, अगर हमें लिबर्टी डेमोक्रेसी का सर्वाइवल चाहिए, so we need what? We need the separation of powers in the country। okay, now abhi this course, we are planning this course, entire constitutional law course, to range somewhere from 1 month to 1.5 months। okay, okay, I'm taking this color, okay, orange। Okay, so 1 से 1.5 month में we'll be covering the entire constitutional law। तो अगर we'll stay 4 weeks, so 4 weeks में week 1 will be the history of constitution, that how did constitution actually came into being। Because it is a basic level course, therefore we are dealing with it, but this course will also help students with judiciary, UGC net, and anyone who is starting from scratch in law। Okay, so it is going to be helpful for them। So history of the constitution, preamble, and the basic concepts that are there। The second week, in the second week what we have, we'll be covering fundamental rights एंड रिट jurisdiction. आपने सुना है सारे रिट्स के बारे में? I hope that many of you are aware about writs. So, how many types of writs do we have? We have five kinds of writs: habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari, and quo warranto. I assure you that when we'll deal with this topic of writs, you will truly understand that how can you remember the chronology, what does one writ means, and you'll learn it for once and for all. I assure you that. So week 3, because we'll be dealing with a lot of case laws also in fundamental rights, and here, so we will need, like, week 2 will be all about fundamental rights. In week 3, we'll be covering directive principles of the state policy, fundamental duties, union and the state structure. Okay. Then week 4, we'll be doing legislature, executive and judiciary concept, emergency and amendment. It seems a bit more for week 4. If we are unable to complete it in week 4, we will extend our course for few more classes and we'll take one more week, that is week 5, but that is the maximum that we are going to stretch with this course. So we are together for around 4 to 5 weeks now. We'll be having classes every day, Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday चलेंगी हमारी classes. And timings, today we got a bit delayed, but timings generally will be for 4 to 5. And Saturday, in the entire week, whatever we have covered on Saturdays, there'll be an assignment. And before starting the next class, we'll be like quickly revising whatever we have covered in the last class. So yes, this will be our schedule for constitutional law. And our BNS lectures, some of it are remaining, so I'll be covering that also side by side with our criminal law students. Okay, so this is our roadmap for the next month, entire month, coming month. Major parts that we will be covering in detail is union and its territory. I believe we are covering like mostly everything that is there. Union and its territory, the citizenship part, सिटीजनशिप, फंडामेंटल राइट्स, हर एक चीज को हम कवर करेंगे केस लॉज के साथ. एवरी टॉपिक विल बी कवर्ड विद द केस लॉज. फंडामेंटल राइट्स, जीपीएसपी ड्यूटीज, सेंटर स्टेट रिलेशंस, इमरजेंसी प्रोविजन अमेंडमेंट्स. And then we will put our special focus towards article number 12. Article number 12, yes. Okay. And doctrine of repugnancy, writ jurisdiction, parliamentary privileges, services, also union and state judicial review, and election and emergency will also be given special importance during our course, plus case laws. आप कोई एग्जाम के लिए अपीयर कर रहे हो, नहीं कर रहे हो, सिर्फ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ पढ़ भी रहे हो, तो आपको केस लॉ अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज अ मस्ट इफ यू आर रीडिंग कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ. बिकॉज इफ यू वांट conceptual clarity in a subject, it can only come through understanding the key aspects of the case laws. Okay, so we'll be covering that as well. So, you will be getting live and recorded classes as we have already mentioned. PDF notes for important case laws will be given to you. Years and chronology will be included. Trips and tips and tricks. Abhi, you will be amazed with the kind of tips and tricks will help you कि आपको years will be on your fingertips after this course. Because in lot of exams now they are asking like chronology based questions कि these are 5 case laws, put them in a chronology. So you need to remember the years as well. So for most of the cases, the important cases, we'll be helping you with various tips and tricks to remember the case laws, and comparative summaries and charts PDFs also we'll be sharing from time to time. So rest assured about the teaching curriculum here at Juris Root. Okay. So yes, today's class was more about understanding that what are the key things that will be going on with the course, how I wanted to like meet you all today and understand your problems if there are any. Okay, so yes, are there any problems on any concept, and do you want to know anything about how the course will be progressing? So we and you can also connect with us, those who all are attending the recorded lectures. So I invite you to bring in all your doubts through our WhatsApp medium. Will be very happy to help you with all your doubts through our WhatsApp medium. So thank you everyone, and I'll be ending today's small session with you with where we just dealt with the key aspects of how we'll be going on with our course. Okay, so I'll be ending the session now. Thank you everyone for joining.